Villager must register as a sex offender after caught with child porn. Villager convicted of golf cart road rage jailed on probation violation. Officials forgive $37,000 in fines at hoarding home in the Villages. A villager running a business out of his home is facing a temporary injunction. Priority members cheer developer's decision to keep the pools private. A villager outs a snowbird who complained about her landscaping. Developer floods coffers of chosen candidates for Sumter Commission. Villager arms himself with a butcher knife to protect himself and his daughter. PWAC is upset that the developer didn't come to them before posting a video at Lake Sumter. Letters to the editor. How many holes in ones of golf did we get? This and more coming up. Well, we got some updates here. Let's try to get some of them out of the way. A villager must register as a sex offender after he was caught with child pornography. Timothy Allen Burke, 65, of the village of Dunedin, entered a plea of no contest this week in Sumter County Court to a single charge of possession of child pornography. The New Jersey native must register as a sex offender, had been placed on probation for 3 years, must complete a sex offender treatment program, can only have supervised contact with minor children, and cannot possess a phone, computer, tablet, or gaming system with internet capability. There you go. That's his update. You guys remember the hoarding? She said her son was keeping her captive prisoner in her house, wanted her to die so he could sell the house and move to Brazil. Here's a little bit of an update on her and her home. Officials have agreed to forgive $37,000 in fines at a home of a notorious hoarder in the Villages. The home at 1889 Blythewood Loop in the village of Sunset Point has been the scourge of the neighborhood for 3 years. Barbara Packard, who suffers from scoliosis and taught school for 40 years, was reportedly overwhelmed and intimidated by her son, Jeffrey, who has a long criminal history. He is now on the run from law enforcement after skipping recent court dates. He had been arrested on drug charges March 11th at his mother's home. Barbara Packard's cousin, Mark O'Shea, came in from New Jersey to try to clean up the mess. The house is back in compliance and a buyer has been lined up. Well, congratulations. Maybe her life will be in peace for a while. Here's an update on the guy I think we reported a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that killed people with a couple of knives he bought. A 16-year-old from Wildwood has entered a plea in a brutal stabbing attack that claimed the life of 15-year-old Connor Michael Gill. Alex Hernandez has pleaded not guilty to charges of murder in the first degree, armed burglary, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's his update. You don't want to know how I feel about this. Here's an update about the priority pools. They were going to open them up to everybody while they were doing renovations up at the Paradise Rec Center. Priority members are cheering a decision by the developer to make the pools private. It was announced at Wednesday's Amenity Authority Committee that the developer has dropped the idea of working out an arrangement that would have opened up the Orange Blossom Hills, Nancy Lopez, and Glenview pools to all residents during the upcoming Paradise Recreation Center teardown and rebuild. The $20 million Paradise project will include the construction of a new pool. The Paradise Family Pool is extremely popular, and the AAC members fear the 2-year closure of the pool could be a hardship for residents of the historic side of the Villages. And there's the update. They're going to keep the pools private. I'm sure they're happy about that. I know at least one or two of them that I know up there, they were extremely upset that they were paying a priority pool price and then let somebody else like me, a resident like me, open it up to me and I could use the pool and I didn't pay nothing. So I understand the side there. Here's a little bit of an update of a guy that was running a golf cart sales and repair business in his garage, and he's been in trouble with the county 2 and 3 different times. A temporary injunction has been granted to halt a golf cart repair and resale business operating out of the Villages of Sanibel Home. Sumter County Attorney Jennifer Ray told commissioners Tuesday night that Judge Christy M. Heelis granted the injunction early in the day involving Charles Abasali in circuit court. The injunction could mark the conclusion of an 8-year clear effort to close the business. Commissioners authorized Ray to seek a temporary injunction in February. The county also is seeking a permanent injunction to keep the business closed, as well as a $50 daily fine, damages, and attorney fees. Well, there's his update. May I say, and I don't know if this has anything to do with this, over where I store my motorhome at a storage lot, somebody rented a spot for, like, say, a 45-foot long spot for a big motorhome, and it's filled with golf carts. He's got a right to be there, and he's not bothering anybody. I just wonder when I've seen all them golf carts, I wonder if that's the same guy. And here's another update, and I believe, for now anyway, this will be the last update. A villager convicted last year in a golf cart road rage incident has been jailed without bond on a probation violation. Sheldon Scott Engstrom, 60, who lives in the village of Hammock of Finney, was booked Tuesday night at the Sumter County Detention Center. In September, Engstrom pleaded no contest to Sumter County Court to charges of battery and resisting arrest in connection with a golf cart road rage incident. Road rage in a golf cart. That's hilarious. He has been, that's like having a road rage with a grocery cart in a grocery store. He had been placed on probation for 1 year and ordered to perform 40 hours of community service. He was also ordered to complete anger management and write a letter of apology. However, Engstrom violated his probation when he was arrested May 24 on a charge of driving under the influence. So he's in jail. That's his update. All right, let's get on with some new news. A villager has outed the snowbird who complained about her out-of-compliance landscaping. The home of Sheila Hughes at 356 Jefferson Lane in the village of Caroline was the subject of a public hearing Friday morning before the Community Development District 6 Board of Supervisors at Seabreeze Recreation Center. Hughes took the podium to denounce the latest complaint lodged against her home. The latest complaint? Must have been more. Community standards offered evidence, including photographs that showed the landscaping is located in the road's right-of-way. Complaints had been lodged about the landscaping interfering with the line of sight on the roadway. Community standards indicated that Hughes never received permission for the landscaping from the Architectural Review Committee. And you guys can see that picture that I'm looking at. That's way too close to the road. I can tell you that right now. Don't ever buy a house with landscaping that close to a road. Hughes and her husband purchased a home in 2016. He died in 2020. When they purchased the home, the landscaping was already in place. So I've heard this argument about a lot of things, rocks in the yard and plants and trees. And once you put your name on that dotted line, you're responsible. That's just the bottom line. Hughes indicated she had done some digging and found out the name of the accuser. The complaint was lodged in March, so the complaint would have been required to give her name, thanks to the change in the policy the year by the CDD 6 board. That means they went from being an anonymous complaint district to you have to give your name when you make a complaint. I'm not for that. She's not here today, said Hughes as she waved her arms to the public seating area and the government meeting. She's a snowbird at her home in Michigan. She used her name more than once in speaking to the board. Hughes also suggested that the Michigander had conspired with a friend involved in previous complaint about Hughes' property. Hughes estimated that bringing her landscape into compliance will cost her between $2,500 and $5,000. You buy a home that's out of compliance, like this lady did, it don't have to be today, it don't have to be next year, it don't have to be 5 years from now. There's no time limit on somebody making a complaint. It could cost you this much money. Sadly, the trolls are in control, Hughes said. All of a sudden, it's a troll. She knows who did it, but it's a troll. My worry is one day, in these tumultuous times, it is not going to end well. She threatening her or what? The board gave Hughes 45 days to bring her property into compliance. This is why I think the anonymous complaint system is a good one. The only thing that I say is you should show proof that you live in the district, the home that you're wanting to make a complaint about. That's it. You don't need to know who it is. This lady didn't really need to know. Look how far she went to find out who that was. She went above and beyond to get that name. Now that she knows who it is, and she lives in Michigan, when she comes back this winter, this lady and the Michigander are going to be enemies forever. A villager was arrested after a trespassing dispute near a fence at his home. Ronald DeLissel, 78, who lives at 1337 Ballesteros Drive in the village of Santiago, apparently hopped the fence near his home and was on private property on Saturday morning, prompting the property owner to contact law enforcement, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The woman who owns the property, which has a no trespass sign posted, informed DeLissel he was on her land. She used her phone to begin to record him, but he slapped the phone out of her hand. That's a no-no. Put this in your head. I don't care if you're drunk or whatever. You can't slap somebody's phone out of their hand down here. That's keeping them from calling 911. That's against the law. You'll go to jail. He went back over the fence to his home. When deputies arrived at the residence, DeLissel claimed he thought the property was on an easement and he was allowed to be there. Then why would you climb the fence if you're allowed to be there? He said he objected when the property owner got out of her phone and began recording. You can object all you want. You better get used to it because that's today. That's the way it is. If you're on public land or on somebody's private land, they have a right to record you no matter what. DeLissel said he had not given her permission. Don't need your permission. If you're on my property, I can record you. If you're on public property, like the road, downtown, sidewalk, any of these places. He said he pushed the phone away. He was arrested on charges of battery and trespassing. The New Hampshire native was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,500 bond. Climbing a fence. Well, I thought this was an easement over here on this side of the fence. God. This is kind of an update, but it kind of ain't. I'm just trying to keep you posted on the elections going on around here, who I think you should trust and who I think you should not trust. To me, it's like black and white. I mean, I see it, but I'm sure that nobody else really wants to see it, and so they just play golf and don't worry about it. The developer of the villages and numerous associates have flooded the campaign coffers of the three chosen candidates running for Sumter County Commission. Political newcomer Todd Kuhn, a landscaper who has publicly pledged his loyalty to the villages, led the way by collecting $109,993 in political contributions, according to the information filed by his campaign with the Sumter County Supervisor of Elections Office. Kuhn is hoping to unseat Sumter County Commission Chairman Craig Estep, a villager who has raised $4,880 thus far. Villager Mary Lazick, who is running for the seat currently held by Roberta Ulrich, raised $82,250. She is running against the village of Winifred resident Deb Butterfield, who has raised $7,950. Don Wiley, who is running against Commissioner Orrin Miller, raised $86,000 in the most recent reporting period. He has raised a total of $90,700 compared with $4,300 raised by Miller, a village of Sanibel resident who recently reclaimed his seat on the commission after a long, difficult battle. Now, you want me to know my personal opinion? My personal opinion. All three of these people that the developer is backing with big dollars to get him elected, and they probably will, these are the people you should not be voting for at all. Why? They're bought and paid for. Don't you see? Bought and paid for. And here's the Village's Daily Sun, which the developer owns, by the way. The publisher of the Village's Daily Sun has donated $3,000 to candidates running for the Sumter County Commission. Philip Mackward, longtime head of the Village's media group, gave $1,000 to Todd Kuhn, $1,000 to Mary Lazick, and $1,000 to Don Wiley. All three of their names will appear on the GOP primary ballot in August. In addition to the money from Mackward's wallet, the trio of Kuhn, Lazick, and Wiley will undoubtedly benefit from positive coverage in the Village's Daily Sun, as well as on WVLG Radio and Village's News Network. And officials who have attempted to buck the developer know that the Village's media group can be used as a powerful weapon against them. A villager was arrested after methamphetamine was found in her golf cart. Marjorie Martinka, 53, who lives at 1150 West Boone Court on the historic side of the Villages, was driving a golf cart at about 1 p.m. Saturday in the area of Teakwood Trail and Aloha Way when she ran a stop sign, according to a arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. A Pennsylvania native who was previously arrested on a drunk driving charge while operating a golf cart was identified by her Florida identification card. What are you doing driving a golf cart if you ain't got a driver's license? You go to jail for that. A canine unit was summoned to the scene, and the dog alerted on the golf cart, signaling a likely presence of drugs. A clear plastic baggie containing 1.8 grams of methamphetamine was found under a towel in the golf cart. A glass pipe was also found in the cart. Martinka was arrested in 2022 altercation with her boyfriend and was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. She was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $3,500 bond. My only thing that I'm going to say, lady, I don't know you. You don't know me, but here's what I say. You need to get away from your boyfriend. He's toxic to you. Get him out of your life, and I mean forever. And then take care of yourself. Get your life back. Stay alone for a while until you know who you are. That's my only advice. A resident of the Villages was caught with drugs after a traffic stop. God, between alcohol and drugs here. Demon Christmas. Emmy Dogar, 42, of the village of Della Vista North, was driving a white Cadillac utility vehicle shortly before 10 a.m. Saturday on State Road 50 in Webster when a deputy noticed the vehicle had a paper tag on the license plate, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The tag had a clear plastic bag, which made the information unreadable. During the traffic stop, a canine unit arrived on the scene, and the dog alerted on the Cadillac, signaling the likely presence of drugs. Dogar was found to be in possession of methamphetamine as well as alprazolam, for which she did not have a prescription. I never heard of that. Alprazolam. I don't know. What is that? Somebody tell me what that is. The
Evansville, Indiana
native was arrested on 2 counts of drug possession. She was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $5,000 bond. I'm always preaching you have the right to protect your property. You have the right to protect you and your family on your property. We have a standalone law here. So when somebody says, I have to call the police, well, it's okay to call them, but you have the right to protect your stuff. You don't have to call district supervisors or any of that. It's your property, your stuff. If you're threatened, you have a right to protect yourself. And here's a story that shows exactly what I'm talking about. A villager armed himself with a butcher knife after an argument got out of control at his home on the historic site of the Villages. The villager was at his manufactured home in the 700 block of Turnberry Lane on the night of June 6th when 46-year-old Charles Posey, who also lives in the home, came in and began making rude comments to the man's daughter, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The villager and his daughter had been sitting in the living room when Posey's rude comments led to an argument, which began to escalate. The villager feared he and his daughter could be in danger, so he went to the kitchen and retrieved a butcher knife. Posey, who stands 6 feet tall and weighs 205 pounds, saw that the villager had armed himself with a butcher knife, prompting the Texas native to charge the older man, pushing him into the stove and microwave, where he hit his head. The villager fell to the ground and dropped the knife. Posey is facing a third-degree felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65. He was booked at Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,500 bond. He is due for arraignment July 1st in Lake County Court. So they didn't arrest the old man. They arrested Posey. So you grab whatever you got to grab to protect yourself. You have that right. A villager apparently is struggling to keep up his property after the death last year of his wife. The home, owned by Billy Kaiser Living Trust at 404 Simpson Street in the village of Mallory Square, was the subject of a public hearing Friday morning before the Community Development District 6 Board of Trustees. Billy and Sandra Kaiser bought the home in 2015 for $256,000. They were snowbirds who spent their summers in Wisconsin and enjoyed escaping the cold Midwestern winters in the Villages. She died February 19, 2023 at age 76. They married in 1964. In April, a complaint was received about weeds at the property. The conservator of the property was contacted and indicated that the belief was the property was being properly maintained. Billy Kaiser is reportedly living in Wisconsin. At one point, the water had been unpaid and reportedly shut off. The plan is apparently to put the house on the market. And actually, just from this picture, and it's not a very good picture, I'll try to clean it up, get the graininess out of there, but it looks like it'd be a nice home for somebody. It doesn't look that bad to me, but I can't see the inside of the house. If the heat's been shut off, electricity's been shut off, thus the air mover doesn't work, that's where the mold will be, in the house. So I would check that out heavily if you're interested in buying this property. The Villages has lost its #1 ranking in Florida retirement destinations according to the new study by Realtor.com. The Villages and one other Florida retirement community won top spots in the annual national ranking, which weighs popularity and affordability. Sun City Center, located near Tampa, offers proximity to the beach as well as medium list prices of homes at $315,000. Our vision is to make the Sun City Center Community Association the most affordable and desirable community that offers all the amenities needed for our 55-plus adult residents to enjoy a healthy and socially active lifestyle that encourages the spirit of volunteerism according to the community's vision statement on the website. The median age of Sun City residents is 71. Coming in at #4 in Realtors.com annual national ranking is the Villages, slightly older with the median age of 73 and pricier with the medium list price of the homes at $400,000. Realtor.com said one of the Villages' top selling points is its many golf courses. Coming in at #2 is Green Valley, Arizona, with a median age of 74 and medium list price at $349,900. The selling points at Green Valley are abundant outdoor activities and its proximity to the world-famous Madeira Canyon. At #3 at Realtor.com ranking was King City, Oregon, located near Portland. Who in the hell wants to retire in Portland? King City boasts a 0% sales tax and access to the Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge. King City has a median age of 63 and a medium list price of $375. I checked out for you guys, and I'd say it's probably worth going to look at. If you're thinking about coming to the Villages, but you think the prices here is kind of pricing you out in this area, if being close to the coast doesn't really bother you, I checked out Sun City Center, and I'd say their website and home prices that I saw on there, they're questionable to me. I got questions because they never really talk about it on the website that I could find. Now, I didn't look at all the websites, so don't yell at me if you find something that I'm telling you I couldn't find. But I found a lot of homes. I found one homeowner, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. I think it was $374, $359. Anyway, you have to go look. There were many 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes on there, 2,000 square feet, 2,100 square feet-ish in that area right there for $315. And if you want a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, I saw 3 or 4 2-bedroom, 2-baths on there for, I want to say, $215 or $225, something like that. If I can get those pictures and bring them up here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It may be worth looking at, but questions would be you need to make phone calls before you go over there. Or if you do go over there, ask the right questions. 55 plus, once again. Can children live full-time there with their grandparents, the drug addict kids? Can a 19-year-old live there full-time? Do they allow renting? Renting can be a problem like Airbnb. Do they allow that there? You need to ask those questions. And the other thing is cost. What's the amenity fees? They didn't talk about it. Property tax, all these kinds of things. You need to find out that stuff to get the real dollar figure of what's going on. The project-wide advisory committee members on Monday said they were surprised by the $3 million dock project at Lake Sumter Landing presented to them 1 month ago. In May, PWAC approved a $225,000 in engineering and design fees for the $2.7 million remake of the dock at Lake Sumter Landing, which has suffered from severe wood rot. PWAC members indicated at the meeting in May a desire to move forward with the project, and members expressed relief that the project could be funded through amenity dollars rather than through maintenance fees paid by residents living south of County Road 466. However, PWAC members at their meeting Monday said they were surprised when they saw a slick video promoting the Lake Sumter Landing dock project that had been released by the developer's marketing department. They said it was obvious the video had been created before the project was pitched to the PWAC. PWAC members Peter Moeller and Don Rule both said they were caught off guard by the video starring district employees. It reflects on this board, said Rule, a member of Community Development District 9 Board of Supervisors, suggesting the die had already been cast. Moeller pointed out that in the past, residents who were interested in a particular activity such as table tennis enthusiasts or disc golf fans has come before PWAC and made a pitch. He noted that in the case of the dock improvements at Lake Sumter Landing, none of the potential beneficiaries, such as dragon boaters or kayakers, had said anything to the PWAC. Mueller said it appeared the project just dropped out of the sky. PWAC member Steve Bova was a bit more direct in his recap of the timeline of the Lake Sumter Landing dock project. Let's be honest about how it came at us, fellas. It was dropped in our lap, Bova said. The video was made. The drawings were on the wall on the Rohan Rec Center. It was a done deal before we got here. He indicated that residents were being hit with rising expenses, including the major SECO rate hike. We need to be very cautious about how we spend our money. What we need versus what we want, Bova said. PWAC members had asked last month that district staff request that developer contribute to the Lake Sumter Landing dock project. Assistant District Manager Bruce Brown, who appeared in a promotional video, said the developer was approached about making a contribution but offered no response. I'll play that video for you right now so you can hear the explanation from the developers' employees about the project.
So I'm Bruce Brown. I work with the Villages Community Development Districts, and today we're here to talk about the revitalization and renovation of the Lake Sumter Landing waterfront.
Water excites everybody. I mean, there's something about water that makes people feel alive, that they appreciate the opportunity to either view it from the shoreline or they can get on it. The beautiful sunrises and the sunsets that people get to experience here, you know, it's part of nature and it's part of our community. And I think this water body, you know, adds that element of why people chose to live in the Villages, because water features are abundant in our community and they provide a great resource for people to enjoy their life. This beautiful lake here was designed and intended for residents' use and enjoyment, whether from the shore or from the water. And we have a great opportunity to enhance that experience for our residents who love being on the water, whether it's fishing, kayaking, going on a Lake Sumter Line boat tour, taking a nature tour on this beautiful pontoon boat. So it really is another lifestyle activity that our residents can truly embrace, just like all the other recreation facilities and parks that we have here. We look at it as a recreation center out on the water.
So we need to do some maintenance work here anyway. I think this is an opportunity to kind of, if you look back to the original concept of Lake Sumter Landing, we can bring that original dream to reality for current and future residents. Last year, over 35,000 residents and guests were out on the tour boats. You know, the water's edge, Lake Sumter Landing's 20 years old, and at this point it's time to invest back into the infrastructure that we have here. And there's an opportunity to really address some of the long-term requests and desires of residents to have dragon boats that are easily launched and recovered, kayak rentals that are easy to launch and recover, a centralized facility where, you know, fishing and boating and kayaking and dragon boats all come together into a brand new facility that makes it very easily accessible to all of our residents.
Well, you know, the water's edge, we've been programming it for the last several years, and you know, it just continues to offer more opportunities for our residents. And the timing is right, as Bruce mentioned, to make some infrastructure improvements and enhancements to this water body.
What was the standard wood plank 20 years ago with flotations under them is not what we use today for these type of amenities. So you'll see a polywood type of based product that will last many, many, many years beyond the normal life of wood, and more modernized flotation systems. So the entire structure will be a floating dock design, but built to much more modern standards. And again, this system will last for many, many decades to come. I think anytime there's an opportunity to invest back into the community, into the villages, you know, where the opportunity presents itself, it makes sense to, as John talked about, get the residents' input on what they really want and what they desire, and then incorporate that into future designs. And I think when you get from the shoreside perspective too, we'll add some nice new seating, some comfortable seating, so there'll be lots of places along the waterfront that residents and guests can just relax and enjoy the water and look out on it. And we'll have a large platform that's extended out into the water so they can, you know, be out here, get the waterborne experience, so to speak, without stepping on board a boat as well. So we have, obviously we have a concept design completed. We'll present that to the project-wide advisory committee and the Sumter Landing CDD.
How many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Looks like only one. Brian Goodman scored his second lucky ace on Tuesday, June 4th at hole number 1 at the Mira Mesa Executive Golf Course. It was the men's day. Well, congratulations on your hole in one, Brian. Hope you guys had fun. How about a couple letters to the editor, and then we're out of here. This letter here is in response to somebody that had some golf clubs stolen. It says, we too had my husband's golf clubs stolen. The good news is we got them back. I had lunch in a pizza place in Brownwood and my credit card was stolen. Ran up a $500 bill in about 2 to 3 hours. Although the thief was on tape, they were not arrested. It's too bad that this is getting worse here. But if there is no prosecution, how do we get it stopped? So sorry for your loss. We felt that way after both our thefts. We are vulnerable here in this senior community. That's sent in by Emma Crock from the village of Pinellas. Well, sorry to hear about your theft there, Emma, but I say it at the end of every news to beware. Things here, it's a retirement community, but over the years, it has changed a lot. To the editor. If the cost is too high right now, why do it? The price of LED, we don't have a choice when it comes to this. This is the SECO. This is the power company. We don't tell the power company what to do. The price of LED lights keep coming down. Go out on competitive bids. You have to pay the utility bill, the taxes, the bond, and impact fees. What about trying to see where the utilities such as SECO Energy can streamline their operation and reduce costs? Just asking. Mark Ziewicz from the village of Mallory Square. Mark, I can't even make a comment on this. All right, I think that's going to be the news this week. It's long enough. Appreciate everybody. If you're not a Patreon member, please become a Patreon member, and I'll send you a free link to our 24/7 Discord. That's where almost all my members are at. We go there. They give things away. They talk about a lot of stuff. If you need more village information in your life, that's where you need to be. So with that being said, I'll just say, see you on the other side. Be well. Stay safe. Be aware.
And don't leave that key in the golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my Patreon and YouTube members. Thanks, guys. You're the best.